Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, also subscribe to my channel. In this video, we will talk about how to retire early, 7 steps. So make sure to watch the full video. Is it possible to retire in your 40s? Yes, but it's not easy to get to that point. You need to be incredibly disciplined and make big sacrifices while you are young. It also helps to have a well-paid job. Retiring early requires some luck too. The FIRE movement's rise in popularity coincided with a sustained bull run on the stock market, which has boosted the investments of FIRE fans. If big sacrifices don't appeal, you may prefer a lower level of FIRE saving while living a more normal lifestyle. After all, the basic principles of the movement, save and invest, make good financial sense. It's always a good idea to have a retirement plan so you can check that you're on target to meet your goal. You should regularly review your plan in case the circumstances have changed. How much do you need to retire at age 40? You have to figure out how much you are likely to need to spend every year once you retire, which give you an idea of the income you will need. If you want to retire at the age of 40 with an income of PS 20,000, you need to multiply this by 25. This means you need a pension pot of PS 500,000. To get this size pot, you would need to save PS 16,000 a year from the age of 21, according to figures from pension provider Royal London. Of course, how easy or feasible it is to save this amount of money will depend on your earnings. For example, if you earn PS 30,000, you would need to save about half of it every year. But if you earn PS 70,000, you would need to save about a quarter of your income. Royal London's figures assume 5% investment growth each year, a constant salary, annual investment fees of 0.5%. Remember, even if you're planning to retire at 40, you can't gain access to a pension until you are 55. This means you would have to use other types of investments, such as a stocks and shares ISA or buy-to-let. How much do I need to retire at 55? Some FIRE savers think 40 is too young to stop working, but are using the principles to retire in their early 50s instead. Many people retire after they reach state pension age, which is currently 66, so retiring in your 50s is still considered early retirement. If you want to retire at 55, you need to save PS 6,000 a year from the age of 21. If you have an annual salary of PS 30,000, you would need 20% of your paycheck. With an annual salary of PS 70,000, you would need 9%. Bear in mind that you usually can't access your pension pot until the age of 55, rising to 57 in 2028. This is why it's a good idea to use a mixture of pensions and ISA. Nicola Richardson has tweaked FIRE principles to suit her joint income of PS 42,000 a year with her husband, and she's on track to retire at the age of 50. Have a backup plan. Being overly reliant on one source of income is a bad idea, which is something that many FIRE savers realized during 2020. That's why you should make sure you have alternative sources of income to fund your lifestyle during market turmoil. Make sure you have a plan if times get tough. Your first port of call should be to use surplus savings. This is what emergency reserves are designed for, to provide an income typically worth 3 to 6 months of living expenses when money is needed fast. If you don't have enough savings, you may have to cash in some of your investments. The risk of doing this when the markets are down is that you could end up crystallizing a loss. How to retire early. 7 steps. Early retirement can be an ambitious financial goal, but with the right plan in place, you can reach it. Here's a 7-step course of action that can help you determine if early retirement is possible and what you'll need to do to make it happen. 1. Determine how much income you'll need in retirement. Many people, incorrectly, start their retirement planning by coming up with a number. You'll often hear statements like, "If I can get to $1 million in my investment accounts, I'll be able to retire." This logic is faulty, and here's why. It's not about how much money you have in the bank. It's about how much sustainable income you can create from the money and other retirement income sources at your disposal. For example, to achieve the same standard of living, Someone who will receive $5,000 per month between pensions and Social Security will need to save nearly as much as someone whose only fixed income source is a $1,500 Social Security benefit. The standard rule of thumb is that you'll need about 80% of your pre-retirement income to maintain the same standard of living. According to this rule, someone with a $100,000 salary would need about $80,000 in annual income after they retire. This could be adjusted higher or lower, depending on your circumstances, and it may be a smart idea to consult with a financial planner to help with this step. If you plan to travel extensively or pursue expensive hobbies after retiring, you may want to aim for a higher level of income. Conversely, if you plan to live a simpler life in retirement, you may be able to get by with significantly less. 2. Figure out how much will come from Social Security and other fixed sources. Without getting too far into the weeds about how Social Security works, the first thing you should do when you have an income goal in mind is consider how much of it is going to come from fixed, reliable sources. Now, if you plan to retire years before you're eligible for Social Security, it's probably best to leave that out of your early retirement calculations. However, if you have any pensions or annuities that will kick in right away after you retire, they should certainly be taken into account here. As an example, let's say that in step 1 you determined you'll need $60,000 per year in annual income after retirement, $5,000 per month dollar. If you can count on a $2,000 monthly pension, this means that you'll need to create an income stream of only $3,000 from your savings. 3. Calculate your number. Here's the step where you determine your savings target. Take the amount of income you'll need to produce from your savings. Then decide how much you can safely withdraw from your retirement savings in perpetuity. Most retirement planners use some variation of the 4% rule. This essentially says that you can withdraw 4% of your savings during your first year of retirement and can adjust this amount upward for cost of living increases in subsequent years without much fear of running out of money. This rule isn't perfect, but it's a good starting point. Calculating the 4% rule is rather easy. Simply take your annual retirement income needs from savings that you calculated in the previous step and multiply by 25. For example, if you need $3,000 per month from your savings, $36,000 per year, multiplying by 25 gives you a target retirement savings goal of $900,000. 4. Take stock of where you stand. The next step is to conduct an honest assessment of where you stand and how feasible early retirement might be. If you're 45 and want to retire at 55, but have a $20,000 retirement savings balance, you may have a tough time building up your savings to a desirable level. On the other hand, if you need $900,000 in savings to retire in 10 years and you already have $500,000, you might be in pretty decent shape. You can use these charts to adjust the numbers to your current savings. For example, if you want to retire in 10 years and have $200,000 saved, simply double the appropriate number in the $100,000 column. 5. Make a savings and investment plan. Here's the step where an experienced financial advisor, such as a certified financial planner, really adds value. Obviously, if you determined a savings target and you've already achieved it, you're in good financial shape to retire early. On the other hand, a financial advisor can help you determine, among other things, how much you should save and invest each month to reach your goal and whether your investment strategy is too risky or too conservative. A financial advisor can tell you if your current income will be enough to save, or if you may want to consider taking on a side hustle to boost your savings. 6. Account for healthcare and other concerns. Here's one thing that many people who dream of early retirement fail to consider. What happens next? How will you spend your time after you retire? Will you get a part-time job? Pursue a hobby? Travel the world? There are far too many possibilities to mention all of them here. But the point is that not having a plan is one of the most common reasons people end up regretting their early retirement. It's also important to have a plan when it comes to healthcare. If you aren't familiar, the age of eligibility for Medicare is 65, regardless of when you retire or claim Social Security. You may be fortunate enough to have a job that will let you keep your current health plan after retirement. Many public sector jobs, in particular, allow this, but if not, you need to plan where your health insurance will come from and how you're going to pay for it. 7. Stick to the plan. Finally, if your goal is to retire early, it's important not only to develop goals and a course of action, but also to stick with your plan. One suggestion is to make your savings and investment plan automatic. For example, if you and your financial planner determine that you should save $500 per month in your brokerage account, set up an automatic transfer to make sure it actually happens every month. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.